Hello, Kampala Junior Academy. You're welcome to today's lesson. My name is Chimoli Robert. I'm going to take you in mathematics. And what we are going to look at today is we are going to look at Roman numerals. I think you all know Roman numerals. You must have looked at them in primary 4, you looked at them in primary 5, and you looked at them in primary 6. And remember, this lesson I'm going to teach, it is also very important that the P6 pupils can also learn the same, because still this falls in their class. And even the P5s can also have a look at this lesson. So today we are going to look at reading and writing Roman numerals. We are going to look at reading and writing Roman numerals. There are some hints to note before we look at what we are to learn today. Hint number 1, Roman numerals are expressed using capital letters. Roman numerals are expressed using capital letters. At times, some of us make mistakes and write small m. You're writing a numeral, but you write small m. This is wrong. Roman numerals are expressed using capital letters, meaning that you're supposed to write capital M. Capital M is written like that, not like this. Then we go to I. Some of us write I with a dot. Roman numerals are capital letters. The moment a dot is involved, it means that is a small letter. So you are supposed to write I without a dot. So we have said Roman numerals are capital letters, and capital letters used to write Roman numerals are the following. We have I, we have V, we have X, we have L, we have C, we have D, we have M. So those are the capital letters that are used to write the Roman numerals. So we have, and then these Roman numerals are grouped. We have the major Roman numerals. Major Roman numerals are the following. I gave you some here, but now here I give you with the Hindu-Arabic what they represent in Hindu-Arabic. I is 1. Remember, this is Roman numerals, and these are Hindu-Arabic numerals. Hindu-Arabic numerals are the common numerals we use in Uganda. So now, I is 1. V in Roman numerals in Hindu-Arabic is 5. X is 10. L is 50. C is 100. D is 500. And M is 1000. So those are the major Roman numerals, or what we normally call the basic Roman numerals. Now, groups of Roman numerals. There are those which we call repeated Roman numerals. What do I mean by repeated Roman numerals? You say to repeat is to write something more than one time, or say something more than one time. It means you are repeating. So now, repeated Roman numerals. Here, a Roman numeral or letter, what you should know is that when you're writing Roman numerals, a letter cannot be written or repeated more than thrice. For example, we have repeated Roman numerals. Examples are here. We have II, that is the same as I, and remember I is represented by 1 plus 1. When you add 1 plus 1, you end up getting 2. So meaning that II is 2. So those are repeated Roman numerals. Another example is XX. We go to XX, is also repeated. You find that X has been repeated twice. They have written X and again X. So what does this mean in Hindu-Arabic? So it means that this is X. You also have another X. But remember, we have what X represents. You go to the major Roman numerals. X is 10. So meaning that to get what is meant by XX, it is going to be X, which is 10, plus another X, which is 10. So you end up getting 20. Meaning that XX is 20. So those are repeated Roman numerals. We can go to more examples. I'm going to take you to those that involve 3 digits. Those that involve 3 digits. 3 digits. For example, we have C. We have C, C, C. So you have seen C is repeated thrice. So it means that this is C, C, C. That is C, C, C. So C is 100. Major Roman numeral. C is 100. So it means this is 100 plus 100 plus 100. When you add them together, you're going to get 300, meaning that C, 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 C is 300. Another good example is D. D is M, M. So we have written M, repeating M, we have repeated M thrice. So meaning that to find out what M means in Hindu Arabic numerals, it means we are going to add M, M, and M. So we go back to the major Roman numerals. The major Roman numerals, M represents what? M is 1,000. So that is 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000. So meaning that M is 3,000. But remember, I have said in Roman numerals you cannot use a letter. You cannot write a letter more than thrice. For example, you cannot say you are writing 400 and you are going to write C, 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 C. No, you can only use a letter. You can only use a letter 3 times. You cannot write it more than. So this one becomes wrong. So now we go to added Roman numerals. And the added Roman numerals, in fact, the very good examples are these. The added Roman numerals, even here we added, but remember these are grouped under repeated. But then there are those which we add, whereby you are not adding a similar letter. The repeated ones, we are using one letter only. You realize here it was C, 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 here it is M, M, M. Now we are going to go to added Roman numerals. And we are saying that if a letter with a smaller value, because we already know the values of these letters, we now already know the values of these letters. We know what I represents in Hindu Arabic. We know what V represents in Hindu Arabic. We already know what all these mean. I'll not go through all of them. So now we go to this point of Roman numerals got by adding. Roman numerals got by adding. So we are looking at that group and we are saying that if a letter with a smaller value, comes after a letter with a larger value, we add to get the required Hindu-Arabic number. Example. One example is here. You are seeing VI. Examples, we have VI. VI is a Roman number or a Roman numeral. Now you realize that if a letter of a smaller value is written after a letter of a higher value, it means you are to add to get what they mean by what you have been given in Roman numerals. For example, when you look at V, V is of a higher value than I. Why? V is what? 5 and I is 1. Whenever you realize that, when you look at the Roman numeral given, you look at the letters used. If a letter of a higher value is written before a letter of a lower value, it means you are going to add to get what is meant by that. For example, we have to add, that is V, and we also have I. So V is V is what? V is 5. And I is what? 1. So 5 plus 1, that is 6. Meaning that Vi is 6. So I'll also give you more examples of the same. So that is B. We have VII. VII is also another example of Roman numerals built by adding. So VII, you look at V. So again, V is of a higher value than II. Remember, when you're in your P4, you must have learned what II represents. II is 2 and V is 5. You realize that 5 is quite bigger than 2. So meaning that they started with a figure of a higher value and they ended up with that of a lower value. So it means you're going to add what to get what we mean by VII in Hindu-Arabic. So this is going to be V and II. So V is what? V is 5. II is 2. This is 1 plus 1, which is 2. So this is plus 2. So we end up getting 7. Meaning that VII in Hindu-Arabic is 7. Another example. Another example is C. C is LXX. LXX. This is what I'm looking at here. LXX. So we have L again. When you look at X and L, L is of a higher value than X. L is what? 50. X is what? 10. Are we together? And when you get these three x's written thrice, that is a number, and it is 30. Because x plus x, that is 10, 20. 20 plus x, that is 30. Meaning that x is 30. So we come here to find out. So this is L. L is a number of its own. Then we have x. L is 50 plus x. This is 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30. So 50 plus 30, that is 80. Meaning that LXXXX is 80. So these are Roman numerals got by adding. And my next example, which is D, is going to be, that is DCC. Go back to our major Roman numerals. D is 500 and C is 100. Meaning that D is of a higher value than C. So since they started with a digit of a higher value, it means we are going to add to get what they mean by DCC. So the higher value is D, and the two come up with one number. This is CC, is a number of its own. So then we come to D. D is which number? D is 500. D is 500 plus C. This is 100 plus 100, which is 200. If you remember what I explained here, when you see two letters repeatedly written, it means you add that particular figure. Now, like C plus C is 100, is 200. So this is 200. And when you add 200 plus 500, you end up getting 700. So meaning that DCC is 700. So now, we are going to look at another category, and that is category C. Subtraction Roman numerals. Subtraction Roman numerals. Subtraction Roman numerals. If a letter of a smaller value comes before a letter with a larger value, we subtract to get the required. We subtract to get the required Hindu-Arabic numeral. And these are the examples. The first example is IV. And those we get by subtraction. Now you realize that I is of a lower value than V. I is 1, V is 5. Whenever you find that a letter of a lower value is written before the letter of a higher value, it means you are going to subtract. How are you going to do it? You get the higher value, which is V, because V is 5, and I is 1. So you are going to subtract. So that is 5, I is 1, and you end up with 4. So meaning that IV is 4. Then you go to another example. Another example is XL. Again, X is of a lower value than L. So to get what they mean by XL, you get L, you get that letter which is of a higher value, and subtract off that letter which is of a lower value, which is X. L is what? 50. And X is what? 10. So meaning that XL is 40. Lastly, another example is XC. Again, you realize that a letter of a lower value has been written before a letter of a higher value. So to get what they mean by XC, it means you are going to subtract. Why are you going to subtract? Because you had a lower value written first and then a higher value written last. So you subtract. That is going to be C and X. So C is 100 minus X, which is 10. So meaning that XC is 90. So now you must have noted this. You must have noted this in the books because these notes are very important. They will help you to understand more about this. So now we are going to the activity that is going to be done. The activity that is going to be done is actually simple. You need to write all this down, and I understand you must be writing right now. You must be writing right now. Sure, you have to be very careful because I know some of you may be playing around with your young babies at home. So please, you need to be very important. You need to be very careful as you do this work. So please note these down because the activity you are going to do today is to recite all of these. So that when we come back in the next lesson, you must know all of these. And I'm going to add a few here because I left out some. I'm going to add a few here. So we have the Roman numerals. Numerals this side, and this side we have the Indo-Arabic numerals. So now the activity you are going to do is very simple. So you are supposed to note these Roman and Indo-Arabic numerals because this is what you're going to recite during your free time. So we have Roman numerals, then Hindu-Arabic. We have Roman numerals and then Hindu-Arabic. So you are supposed to look at these, recite them. So by the time we come back for the next lesson, you should be able to tell all these continuations here. We also have more here. This is a continuation to what you had on the other side. So we have more here. Please, and please make sure you spare time and recite all of them. Because as you recite all of them, you are going to find the next lesson very, very, very simple. If you have all this on your fingertips, please make sure you recite all those. Okay, now, remember when you are checking for this work, some of you may not have understood. You may watch a video and you have not understood. So you can pause. At times, maybe you are watching and something happens, you can pause and still come back and continue the lesson. Or you can even always go back to the website and get the lesson. That is if you never understood it. So now, our website is www.kampalajunioracademy.ac.ug. I repeat, our website is www.kampalajunioracademy.ac.ug. Facebook, our Facebook account is Kampala Junior Academy, and our YouTube is also Kampala Junior Academy. So you will find those lessons there, and please, you can even keep watching. If you never understood, you still refer back to the video and watch the lesson. Otherwise, thank you for viewing this lesson. We meet next time with another lesson. I remain Chimuli Robert.